Why aren't barrel saunas popular in Europe? Why are they so controversial? Some people love barrel saunas, some people hate them. What is the reason behind that? I will explain it to you. Everything you need to know about barrel saunas. I will explain what is this controversy coming from. But first, let's read a few comments that I just found from Reddit. German here. Just buy a real sauna. If you can afford one and get your feet above the oven. Barrels are toys, cute, cheap and inefficient. Sip Your Head says, don't listen to all haters. Barrels are fine, especially if you are using it for 1 to 2 people. Mine gets to 220 degrees in half an hour, home heater. I have 2 fans circulating air, even up the heat, a small change room, and I'm more than comfortable. A lot of people here are snobs and gatekeepers. No yogurt closets. Only thing I don't like about barrel saunas is my cold feet, because you are sitting so low to the ground. I don't hate them though. You can get them decently hot. Someone with the deleted profile. Personally, no. Why? You really can't lie down. One end is the stove, so either you are cooking your feet or you are cooking your head. Plus, if outdoor, they tend to leak if you don't follow the maintenance plan. Lastly, John Bao says, love my barrel sauna. It gets hot and ice wet. Might go fire it up right now. So, very controversial, as we can see. Some people think it's fine, other people really hate them. So I think the main question is, why? Why aren't barrel saunas popular in Europe? Why are they popular in the US? Are barrel saunas good or bad? So let's explore the reasoning here. So the problem with barrel saunas is that they tend to go against the base principles of designing an amazing Finnish or traditional sauna. So in barrel saunas you have to sit on the same level with the heater, and because of stratification, so hot air being significantly lighter than cold air, hot air tends to rise up and cold air being more heavy plummets the bottom of the sauna. So usually, as this one guy here said, his feet are cold and his head is hot, and that is because of stratification. However, there was someone who said, I have 2 fans circulating air to even up the heat. So that's one good way to make the heat in barrel sauna more efficient. Also, sauna heaters, especially electric sauna heaters, we are talking about electric sauna heaters now, they emit this radiant heat that is not the most pleasant heat. So you want to sit farther away from the sauna heater in the most optimal sauna environment. And in barrel sauna, you have to sit right next to the heater, which basically means that you get that radiant heat radiated straight to you. So that's kind of one sauna design principle that barrel saunas go against. Then we had this one guy who said that you really can't lie down. What he means is that many people, myself included, we like to lie down in our sauna because, well, then your body is equally hot from everywhere. It's very meditative to just lie down in your sauna bench. And in barrel sauna, as he says here, you are either cooking your feet or cooking your head, because either one has to be very close to the sauna heater, even if you have a barrel that is big enough that you can lie down. So that is true. However, I think it's better to have a barrel sauna than no sauna. And in US and in North America, saunas tend to be much more expensive than they are in Europe. So that's why barrel saunas are more popular in the US and not very popular in Europe, because in Europe, sauna culture, well, it's better understood, but there is also so much options that are so much cheaper that it's not cheaper in Finland to get a barrel sauna compared to just building a real one. And there are sauna professionals all around that can do that. So that's why barrel saunas are not popular in Europe, because they go against these base sauna principles. And in the US, it's usually affordable and easy way to get sauna to your backyard. And it's better to have a barrel sauna than no sauna at all. And as many people here say, it gets hot and ice wet. And that's what a lot of you are looking for. If you are just looking to sweat and get into a hot room, which is, well, very enjoyable and the idea of sauna, barrel sauna will work fine for you. However, the whole comment, it gets hot, and someone says to mine gets to 20 degrees in half an hour with home heater. This is a little bit of a strange comment, because If you have correctly sized sauna heater, your sauna heater will always reach the temperature that it's limited to. So let me explain to you why people say it gets hot, it doesn't get hot, and so on and so forth. So sauna heaters work in a way that they are always either on or off. And if you set your sauna heater to aim towards, let's say, 195, and this is again for electric sauna heaters. With wood-fired sauna heaters, you obviously can't set the desired temperature. But if you set your sauna heater to go to 195, when the sauna heater reaches 195, when the temperature sensor you have on the wall shows that, okay, the temperature is now 195, the sauna heater shuts off. And when the temperature starts dropping a little bit later, then the sauna heater turns on again, and it will stay on until you reach the desired temperature again. So that's how sauna heaters work with the thermostat. All other heaters except Home are limited to 195 degrees. It's not because these sauna heaters could not go higher, it's because something called a UL listing, which is like a safety thing, requires you to limit your heater to 195. However, Home heaters are limited to 230, and they have something called SGS listing, which is another safety listing, and that's why they can limit their heaters to 230. If the heater is correctly sized and it's any other heater, you can reach 195, and if heater is incorrectly sized, you can't reach the temperature that is the maximum temperature of the heater. And if you have Home heater, you can reach 230 degrees Fahrenheit. If you have a wood-fired sauna heater, you can just put in more and more wood, and the longer you burn and more wood you burn in there, well, the hotter the sauna gets. So that's why I think many people here saying it gets hot and stuff like this, I think it's just a little bit strange overall, because if your sauna heater is just correctly sized, it will always reach the maximum temperature that the sauna heater is limited to. I think barrel saunas look good aesthetically. That's my opinion. I think you can get a good sweat in a barrel sauna. You can still have a good social sauna experience in a barrel sauna. However, what I don't understand is that I have seen some $5 million vacation homes where they still stuffed barrel in the back. So if you're not limited by money, I would consider getting a cabin sauna, a bit bigger cabin sauna, either getting one or building one, because they just tend to offer a bit better sauna experience because of the before mentioned reasons. So are some barrels better than others? So yes, so there is models where you have multiple levels of benches where you can actually sit above the sauna heater. These models are Sauna Life EE6G and Sauna Life EE8G, for example. So these tend to get along with the best practices of designing a sauna a bit better, and overall they offer a bit better sauna experience than a standard barrel. And of course there is also these huge barrel saunas, and actually the shielding shape that is like a dome in barrel sauna, it allows the air to circulate very well, and it doesn't trap the load or the steam in any corners. So if you have a huge barrel sauna that has few levels of benches, or even if you only have one level but you can sit farther away from the sauna heater, it can be great. Nothing wrong with getting a barrel sauna. If you get one, maybe you want to check out Sauna Life EE6G or EE8G. And if you can afford, maybe you want to get a cabin sauna, but barrel sauna is a great way to get started with your sauna going. And this was just an explanation why they create controversy and why some people love them and some people hate them. Veeti from the Sauna Heater, thank you so much.